Oh, it's great to have you. Welcome on back to Damon Bruce Plus. As always, we are brought to you by Ike Sandwiches. I mean, get yourself one of the most delicious sandwiches in the whole world right now. Hopefully you live near an Ike's, and if you do, boy, you're going to want to sign up for that Love Rewards program. That's how you go ahead earning your way towards free chips, drinks, and sandwiches. You'll be very, very happy that you did. I hope you were one of the people who were nice enough to join us at the Dubliner West Portal. Thank you so much to them for supporting the channel as well. I love Kenny and John, and what a great bar it is over on West Portal. We're going to have to drag Matt Maiocco out there eventually. We're going to drag Matt Maiocco right into this show in just a minute. But first, let me also tell you about Sleeper. Picked up a little winner last night, Sunday Night Football. I sure liked what I bet on, and it all came home for me. Thank you very much to Sleeper. And you, too, can get a $100 deposit match up to $100 by using promo code Damon. It is the first thing to click on in the description of this video. You go there and you will find out why Sleeper is America's fastest growing fantasy app. It is the world's fastest growing fantasy site, and it is got one of the best user interfaces when you're putting together your own parlays. Check it out over on Sleeper. You'll be happy that you did. So thanks for being here. It's great to have you here. And man, oh man, when it's time to talk about the 49ers, I am so lucky that I get to continue to tap into a man who I've been talking 49ers football with for nearly 20 years, the Cobra himself. Matt Maioco, your CSN Bay Area insider, NBC Sports. I'm not even sure what it is. He's in the studio now. It's so good to have you, Matt. Thanks for joining me. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Damon. And as you can tell, I'm in the press box at Levi Stadium. Why the stadium looks like there are people in it, I'm not quite sure, but we don't ask questions here.
Let me tell you, the breakfast nook has gotten a technological upgrade since your official foray into YouTube. And for those who do not know, I mean, you don't have to turn on the old-fashioned TV or the old-fashioned radio to hear Matt Maioco talk. He's got his own YouTube channel now. Tell people where to go sign up and subscribe, Matt.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. I'm not sure exactly what the whatever my name. I think is it Matt Maiocco in NFL or something, but you can probably just search for Matt Maiocco on YouTube and you can find me. And I give daily updates, 12 minutes or so, just kind of no nonsense, cut the BS and just kind of get right to it. So I'm kind of enjoying just putting it out there and just letting it sit there, and anybody who wants it can go find it. But my day job is at NBC Sports Bay Area, and this year kind of a new job for me. I'm not traveling to games after 30 years. It's kind of a nice, I don't know. It's been reinvigorating in a lot of ways. So,
is it nice to get off the road? It is. You spent 30 years on the road. Getting off the road ain't a bad idea.
No, and I would never give up those 30 years. Though I had so much fun doing it. But when the opportunity presented itself to hey, would you want to be in studio for games? I was like, yeah, actually, that kind of sounds good. And so I'm really enjoying it. I mean, one of the great things, Damon, is to be able at, my age, to be able to do something different and kind of learn and grow and kind of feel butterflies before, going on the air. I mean, it's been a lot of fun. So I'm enjoying it a lot.
Well, and I'll tell you, Matt, I really think that this is, one of the reasons why football just captivates America, and one of the reasons why we're addicted to it more than any other sport. It translates on TV better than it does even in person. Yeah. Person's all about the atmosphere and being with your friends and high-fiving after big plays and whatnot, but you cannot follow the game to the degree which you do get to when you're watching the TV product. And to be in studio, to be able to jog back and look at replays and control all of it, don't you feel you actually better get a better grasp of what you just watched?
It is so funny
in person.
It's so funny that you say that, because just this morning I was thinking that exact same thing. And it's not just the game. Now, I will say I was kind of hamstrung a little bit at the end of that game on Thursday night. We went on the air basically before we saw in our feed the replay of that fourth down play. So I wish I had pointed out the tremendous play that Chase Lucas made because he didn't show up on the stat sheet as making that tackle, but he made that play. But other than that, being able to watch when you're covering a team and you're in, let's just say this Sunday, if I'm in Tampa Bay and I'm not watching the morning games, so I'm not seeing the Sunday night game. I'm not, the Monday game. Sometimes I'm traveling back on Monday and I'm
Right.
so tired I can't even make it through the Monday night game. I will say this last weekend where the 49ers played the Thursday night game and then the Sunday games, both morning and afternoon, and then the Sunday night game and the Monday night game. I've never been so entertained in my life. I mean, it was amazing to be able to watch all those games and see, the unbelievable meltdown that the Arizona Cardinals had, that fantastic game Buccaneers at Seahawks, the Sunday night game with the Patriots. Like, are they getting ready to be one of those teams? And then, of course, last night, Monday Night Football, which was an all-timer. So to be able to enjoy not only, and even when you're at a game, you really don't enjoy it because, at least, from my standpoint, when I'm working it, I'm looking at it from kind of a analytical, sterile standpoint, but be able to take a step back and watch it. I mean, it's cliche, but it really is, man, the greatest reality show going.
It is. It is.
And so I see, I think I've gotten this new perspective this season just on why football is so fascinating and so many people are hooked and there's passion the way there is, because it's just so freaking compelling.
Well, Matt, I mean, your perspective is exactly why I wanted to have you on today, because I do think trying to look at this team and sum up where it is right now takes a little expertise perspective, if you don't mind me saying. It's easy to glass half full this. I think if you wanted to be negative and glass half empty it, you could, but there's no reason to, because look, under circumstances which would have prevented a lot of teams from starting 4-1, that's who the 49ers are. So I want to start with this. If 4-1 turns to 5-1 after this weekend in Tampa, do the 49ers front office become more aggressive at the trade deadline than it might have been?
I think they have to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that after the Bosa injury and seeing how they played in that Jacksonville game, after that game, I thought, well, why go out and get somebody? You
Right.
don't have the horses capable of winning anyway. And to me, speaking specifically, and this is going to be maybe controversial, and so I'm going to say it this way. I think Fred Warner might be the best player in all of football. He is that freaking good. But I think that for that defense, Nick Bosa might have been the most important player for that defense. And because I think teams can win without, the best middle linebacker in football. Teams can win without a Fred Warner. Now, what he gives them is so far and above what other teams have. But I don't think teams can win without a steady, consistent pass rush. And Nick Bosa is the only player on that team capable of giving the 49ers a steady, consistent pass rush, the kind of pass rush where he can still get home when you devote two guys to blocking him, which then enables the guy on the other side, one-on-one, to have a better chance of getting home as well. And so I just don't know where the pass rush is going to come from. And in 2 games without Bosa, it's been in 2 full games, 1 sack and just 1 other hit on the quarterback. So if they're able to beat the Rams with this lack of pass rush, if they're able to go to Tampa Bay and beat one of the other top 5 teams, I would say that without even giving him a pause. One of the other top 5 teams in the NFC, for sure, a playoff team, a division winner, and maybe even better than that. If they can win those 2 games on the road, I think it changes the dynamics of how John Lynch and the front office has to look at the team going forward. Now, I wouldn't expect them on Monday morning to pull off some blockbuster trade, and they'd have to continue the Falcons the next week. But I do think if they are remain clearly in the driver's seat of the NFC West like they are right now, it definitely has to change what they're looking at. There's also, how much future resources as far as draft picks do you give up to get somebody, and who is that somebody? I've always kind of questioned, or I don't think it can be a Trey Hendrickson, but you can get other defensive linemen, edge rushers in particular, that improve your line without giving up the huge resources that would be needed to go out and get Trey Hendrickson.
So who is this team? How do they see themselves in their own front office? I feel like they're going to answer that question in a very public way by what they do here at the trade deadline. A critic could say, hey, man, you're a whistle away from losing last week for sure. A quick whistle means Guerrero fumbles, and I don't know if the 49ers go on to win that game if that play is allowed to happen. Every game in football seems like it comes down to an eyelash margin of victory or defeat. The Niners haven't even particularly played well yet, but here they are. They're 4-1. And like Bill Parcells famously said, you are who your record is. But they aren't. Yeah. They're not as good as their record is, but they're actually, in a weird way, about to be better than their record is, because we haven't even seen who they really are yet. Again, no Kittle, no McCaffrey, no Brandon Ayuk, no Brock Purdy, all taking a single snap yet together this year. Has not happened. And so we haven't even seen who they are yet. So it feels like being 4-1 is just stealing from the penny jar here. They've gotten away with some football murder early on in a year where football murder normally murders the 49ers. They don't usually get away with it.
Well, we don't know who they are, but we do know that they aren't last year's team. Right. Because last year's team probably would be 0-5 right now. And that's how close this season has been. I mean, people will say to me after this game against the Rams, oh man, they should be 5-0. They shouldn't have lost that game to the Jaguars. And then the counterpoint is, yeah, but they could have easily lost weeks 1, 2, and 3. I mean, they're 4-1. And what you say is absolutely right. I mean, I think that, there are a lot of areas on this team where you look at and you go, boy, that's sustainable. The running game to me is an area where they should be improving once Kittle comes back. They're obviously, I mean, their running game is atrocious. It's the worst I've seen under Kyle Shanahan. And that's the area where
let me just ask real quick. Is that the offensive line's fault?
You know what? I honestly think so much of their running game is predicated on their wide receivers blocking. The wide receivers in a lot of way help a 5-yard gain become a 15 or 20-yard gain. I think there's a lot of blame to go around, but I would say that to me, the two biggest weaknesses with the running game would be the tight ends and the wide receivers, areas of the team you don't ordinarily associate with the running game per se, especially the wide receivers. But, there are plays where it looks to me like it's blocked up okay on the outside, and then someone's coming in, blocked up okay on the inside, and then someone's coming in, whether a safety or a corner, to kind of dig out McCaffrey, and it's a 3-yard gain. So I think that of all the areas on the team where what you expected and what you get, I think the offensive line is like what you might have expected they'd be. I think they've been better than what you would expect them to be. I mean, Shanahan, or at least right there, or at least the top. I would say the offensive line is doing as well as could be expected.
Yeah, it's slightly above league average. It's not so bad where it's going to be the reason why you get your ass kicked, but it's also the reason why you're not kicking as much ass as you probably should be, for sure. Kyle Shanahan has to be worried about Christian McCaffrey's workload, right? Like, my 4-year-old plays with toys hard till they break. He can't do that again. Like, if you wanted to know what the 49ers this year would be, look at last year. Because without Christian McCaffrey, I mean, like, we can talk about Brock and Mac until we're blue in their face. Christian McCaffrey is the straw that stirs the drink of this offense at all times. I really believe that. It almost doesn't matter who the wide receivers or the quarterback is. It really doesn't. It's like, to me, it's all about McCaffrey. And like, Shanahan has got to use him less. I know he wants to use him more. This toy needs to be carefully. You can't just let Kyle play with his toy without supervision.
There's a lot to unpack there with Christian McCaffrey. I would say that, last year, Jordan Mason did a really good job as a runner. He had that one big fumble against the Cardinals that basically lost that game. But as a runner, his production was really good. Where he wasn't good was as a third down threat or even a check down threat. So the yards rushing aren't there, but yet McCaffrey is, he's the offensive MVP for the 49ers this season because of his ability to catch passes out of the backfield. I think when they acquired Brian Robinson, they were thinking like, oh, this will be great. Take some of the workload off of McCaffrey. And also if McCaffrey misses a game or two or three at any point throughout the 17-game schedule, Robinson has a lot of starts, a lot of production. He can slide in, and 49ers offense can be okay. There definitely has to become a point where they can't use him as much as they do. However, I think we all understand it because he gives them the best chance of winning football games, and they're better when he's out there. And so the fact that the 49ers have played 5 games where they've all come down. I mean, have they all come down to the final drive? I think they all have, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that they played those games means that there's not a whole lot of area of just like, oh, this one's in the bag. Let's just get Robinson in there. I mean, we haven't even seen Isaac Guerendo either. So
we'll get to him in just as we'll get to him.
I'm not sure what to add there other than just I guess there's not really enough playing time right now for Brian Robinson. So why would there be any playing time for a third string running back?
I can't believe that one of Kyle's trying to figure out what to do at wide receiver hasn't been, we're kicking McCaffrey out to the slot and we're going to use Robinson Jr. and Guerendo a little bit more in the backfield, or just have Guerendo kick out. I think he's got pretty good hands. And to me, like, if he's not cracking any offensive snaps in that Rams game, given the situation in that locker room, I don't know when we're going to see him. And then he fumbles, and that's been a problem for him. I think he's permanently in Shanahan's doghouse. I doubt he has 10 more snaps in a Niner uniform. I don't think we're going to get to know Isaac Guerendo at all, but I really don't care. Why is Brian Robinson Jr. arrived as a square peg that doesn't quite fit the round hole yet?
I think, the first thing is that, again,
bad offensive line a little bit in front of him too, right?
Well, I'm saying they're not going to put him out there in place of McCaffrey. He's a battering ram type of running back. He's a no-nonsense runner, which Shanahan likes. He likes one cut and get up the field, no dancing. Brian Robinson doesn't do any dancing. But there just isn't, at this point, I mean, what I'd been hearing early on was this, once he gets the system, the style of running, how you read the holes, how you hit the holes, once he becomes more familiar with that, then there will be opportunities for him. I mean, I think at this point, he probably won't get on the field until, McCaffrey's shoelace breaks. And they need him out there.
He doesn't have to go to Germany for new shoelaces, hopefully.
Exactly. Okay. I'm glad that you caught on to that.
Do we, Cobra, see either Jordan Watkins or Jordan James play football this season? Like, hurt quickly becomes out of sight, out of mind. And we all know that Kyle has seething hot contempt for any rookie in his locker room anyway. Are these guys going to be a factor this year at all?
I don't think so. Now, that doesn't mean that they're down on them. With Watkins, I mean, I think he factors in prominently next season. And I mean, that's ahead. But look at, right now, they have 5 receivers active on game days, and one of them is the return specialist. Sky Moore now, would it be Jacob Cowing down the road? Whatever, it doesn't matter. One of those two guys. So that's one spot. So they have 4 wide receiver openings. And if these guys are healthy, there's no supplanting them, I don't think. It'll be Pearsall, Jennings, Bourne, and Demarcus Robinson. And then if Brandon Ayuk comes back, which is probably not a given at this point, then he slides into one of those 4 spots. And then it's probably Robinson or Bourne who doesn't get a uniform on game days. So I just don't think that opens the door at all for Jordan Watkins to step on the field unless there are a couple of injuries and then he slides in there. But
right.
with Jordan James, again, I was talking to Lynch last week, and I was talking to him about the rookie class, and he said, we have the guys who are playing, but we're also really excited about the guys who haven't even sniffed the field yet. And he put Nick Martin in that group too. So Nick Martin, who can't get on the field because of D winners. And then you have, Jordan James, who's right now the 4th running back, and then Jordan Watkins, who would be the, 6th wide receiver. So I think that those guys will have their opportunities, but I don't think it'll be this year. If it is this year, that means there are a lot of injuries that are still to come for this team.
By the way, Sam Bruno Mike says, looks like Damon's trapped in 2000. I got a little pixelation. Meanwhile, Cobra is in 2025.
Oh, yeah, baby.
You're looking good, Matt. I'm screwing it up over here. The most important show of the week, of course, I'm getting bad footage. Damn it. It's just my luck. It really, really is.
Pay that bill. Pay that Xfinity bill.
I need that freaking router updated. I need a better camera. I don't know what's going on here. Either way, everyone, thanks for being here right now. Hit like and subscribe. Make sure you're following Matt Maiocco and subscribing to his channel on YouTube as well. No one has been covering this team longer than the Cobra. Look, so a quarterback controversy really only happens if it's happening in Kyle's mind.
Mm-hmm.
Is there one happening?
No, I don't think there is. No. But you know what? I mean, it's a good thing for the 49ers that we're talking about this because it means that Mac Jones has stepped in and played well. No, I think a lot would have to happen. I mean, just before I came on here, Damon, I went to the trusted source, Pro Football Reference, just to see the raw stats. And so, I looked at this, Mac Jones, 3 games started for the 49ers. His completion percentage, 66.7. So, 2/3 of every pass he throws completed. In 38 games with the 49ers, Brock Purdy's completion percentage is higher. In 3 games, Mac Jones' average yards per pass attempt is 7.0. In 38 starts for Purdy, it's 8.8. And then passer rating, which, we can debate, does passer rating tell you who the better quarterback is? It tells you who the better stats guys are. It doesn't tell you arm strength. It doesn't tell you decision-making, but it tells you raw numbers of production. And passer rating for Mac Jones in these 3 games, which has been phenomenal, by the way, 99.1. But in 38 games for Brock Purdy with the 49ers, his passer rating is 103.7. So even these 3 games,
which would, I believe, be the highest in the history of football.
That is right. And so as well as Mac Jones is playing through these 3 games, still he's not as good as what Brock Purdy has produced in 38 games. So there's no way a guy steps in 3 games and replaces a guy who's been doing it for 38 games and you just signed to, top 7 quarterback contract. So no, I think we're a long way off from that. However, when is Brock Purdy going to be healthy enough to resume playing football at a high level? Because I think it was quite clear that the game against Jacksonville, that he was affected. He wasn't ready to play.
I think they made a mistake there, Matt. I mean, I think, first of all, I think that the 49ers, when it comes to injury honesty, looking at them side-eyed is not the wrong way to approach it. Like, I don't think they handle their injuries very well. They've got a history that is sort of absurd when you just compare them to other NFL teams. But I do think, after they said it might be 6 weeks before we see Brock, he's out there practicing the Monday after that Saints game. Like, who?
Yeah, they never said that. They never said 6 weeks, but I do know that it wasn't considered the kind of turf toe injury based on the ligament that were damaged or strained or whatever. I guess sprain would be a ligament. It wasn't like a Joe Burrow type of injury. The issue and I don't know what would have happened. I still think that they felt that Purdy was healthy and fine and ready to go. But remember, on that Friday before the Jaguars game, Purdy wasn't even on the injury report. Like, they didn't have him as questionable, nothing. Whereas Mac Jones was on the injury report. The question, and no one would ever answer this, but if Mac Jones had been completely healthy for that game, would they have gone with him one more week? I'm not sure. But that Friday before the Jaguars game, they deemed Brock Purdy to be the healthier of the two quarterbacks. Now, in retrospect, and I completely agree. I mean, there was that if they had known, or if the risk of aggravating that injury was as high as it clearly was based on how he felt coming out of the game, there's no way he should have been on the field to play that game. And now it's anybody's guess when he's going to be back. I haven't heard anything about injured reserve, which would shut him down for the next 4 games. At this point, I don't get the sense that's where they're going, but I'm sure
Mac is starting in Tampa, right?
I think Mac is starting in Tampa. Yeah. I mean, to me, it would be, again, without knowledge of the exams and the CAT scans and the MRIs or whatever else. I don't see. I mean, I would think there comes a point. I know football. I've been around football a long time, and it's always like, if he's healthy enough to play, he's healthy enough to play. Get him out there.
I mean, look, I remember doing an interview with Andrew Brandt years ago, and you know who he is from the Green Bay Packers front office and now a media guy. And he just said simply, I was talking to him about the Favre run, which he was a part of, and he just said it was real simple, Damon. The player plays.
Yeah.
The player plays. And there's a part of me that agrees with that. There's another part of me that goes, well, sometimes you cannot just let the player play. And I feel like the Niners might trip over that moment more often than others.
I would think that, like with Brock Purdy in particular, with this injury, it's like, oh, he's cleared to play. Let's give it another week.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems reasonable.
Err on the side of caution. Hey, not to get in a time machine and pick scabs, but you're the right guy to do this with.
Here we go.
When I watch Mac Jones seamlessly fit in to Kyle's offense, it makes me instantly revisit the Trey Lance draft.
Yeah.
Who or how was Kyle talked off Mac Jones onto Trey Lance? Because Mac Jones seems to be born to give Kyle what he wants at the QB position.
Yeah.
What threw him off the scent?
I go back to that season. So the 2020 season, if you remember, late in that year, the Bears were kicked out of Santa Clara. They had, I think it was a Monday night game against Buffalo in Arizona.
Yes.
And Josh Allen just ran all over him. Arm, legs, just did it all. I think, and I think maybe, was it that season, or I forget what season it was, but you had the Lamar Jackson game in Baltimore where he's running all over him. I think that was probably the season before, or I forget exactly the timing on that. It might have been after that. But anyway, I think that, as I understand it, when the trade was made, the 49ers were at that point already certain that the first 2 picks were going to be Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson. And then the next quarterback, I think they had an opportunity to make that trade with Miami to move up to number 3. When Kyle Shanahan watched Mac Jones and thought, oh, I would take him over Jimmy Garoppolo right now, the trade was made. And then it's like, okay, Mac Jones is our guy unless I like someone better. And, they visited Ohio State. They didn't like Justin Fields. And then the Trey Lance. And I think they saw enough things, as far as play action and what he did at North Dakota State, as well as the running ability. And I think Kyle thought at that point, I don't think he was talked into it. I think he talked himself into it. There's a story coming back from, I think it's Justin Fields' pro day, where he was on that private plane.
He's drawing up plays on napkins for Trey Lance.
Trey Lance. Yeah. So I think that he felt like the processing of Trey Lance, his ability to turn his back to the defense on play action, which is something that he was doing in college, all that, I think he felt like, this guy can take it to another level. And it's kind of funny. I mean, since Trey Lance, he's reverted back to, in a lot of ways, to what he initially liked about, Matt Schwab and Kirk Cousins and some of the quarterbacks he had in the past. So, I mean, it's an interesting and it's fascinating. How things would have turned out differently had they gotten Mac Jones. Would they have still picked Brock Purdy, last in that draft, or would they felt a need to do that? But I think what I'd always heard was, Mac Jones and his people, whatever that means, they were led to believe that Shanahan was going to, the 49ers were going to pick him. And I think that, early on, he knew, Mac Jones did, and his camp, that his best chance of success and having a long and Pro Bowl after Pro Bowl career was with this perfect system for them. And he goes to New England and has a good rookie season. And then New England turns into what the 49ers were when they drafted Alex Smith. Never had a chance in New England after year one, because different system every year, offensive dysfunction with Matt Patricia, and like, what the heck is going on? And so
there weren't enough pencils to put in Matt Patricia's ear to solve that. There weren't. There absolutely weren't.
But no, it's amazing how it turned out. And for them to be reunited 4 years after the fact, and now we're seeing it, that Mac Jones is pretty darn good in this system.
I got to tell you too, there's a lot that goes into being a franchise quarterback, and I don't know if we've seen enough from Mac on the field to identify him as a franchise quarterback. But the guy who showed up dressed like a cherry Coke at that Rams press conference, he gave the single best podium answer I think I've ever heard a backup quarterback give when asked about stepping on toes of the starter. And he just stuck the fucking landing on that, Matt, so perfectly. You've sat in 1,000 football press conferences. Nadia Comaneci perfect 10 press conference landing when you see one. How great was that for him?
Yeah, you're talking about Brock Purdy being the quarterback.
Yeah, and Mac was asked, do you think you'd be a starter? And he's like, yeah, I'm confident in myself, but this team, I'm the backup. Purdy's the starter. I'm here to support him. I've been in a role where I've been pushed by a guy who's healthy and playing while I'm hurt, and I'm not going to get in the way of that guy's success. I just thought he nailed it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the thing that people, like, I don't know if they don't understand it, but roles are defined in the NFL. I mean, very rarely, and it happens, I guess, maybe 2 or 3 camps a season where there's actual competition. But most of the time, it's very well defined. When Mac Jones was signed by the 49ers, it wasn't like, hey, you're competing for the starting job. No, teams don't want guys that they sign to be backups to say, I'm coming in to compete and I'm going to be the starter. I'm going to take this guy's job.
Right.
They don't want that. That's, there was a former 49ers quarterback of the past who, said that. And it's just not what teams are looking for. Teams know who their starting quarterback is. Sam Darnold had a great attitude coming in. Like he thought when he signed that he could be the starter because Brock Purdy had that elbow thing, but he also knew once Brock Purdy got cleared, he wasn't the starter. And so your job as the backup is to play your part and be part of a really good, tight quarterback room, and to help the starting quarterback as much as you can, and then be ready. And when your time comes, which often it does, more often than not, the backup's time will come. It is to play really good football and make yourself more valuable to one of the other 31 teams in the league. And what's interesting with Mac Jones is that he signed a 2-year contract, which really looks good for the 49ers right now, because, they're going to have him under contract for next season. Or, is there a possibility that they could get a really good draft pick by trading him? At this point, he's much more valuable to this team right now than he is for a second-round pick in 2027.
Dare we say Len Eschmont Award winner, Mac Jones, basically what he's given this team so far here. The Cobra, Matt Maiocco, nobody dialed in better. Again, nobody has watched this franchise from as up close over the course of 30 years as you have. You've seen him come and go. So have I, in terms of coaches. And it feels like everybody who covers the 49ers basically are divided into two camps. Do you believe in Brock, yes or no? Do you believe in Shanahan, yes or no? And I think you and I both checked the box of yes. We do believe in these guys being the right people in place to have success with.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question. Yeah, I mean, it just, I don't. I mean, I understand, I guess, any criticism of Shanahan because, fan base wants a Super Bowl championship.
Right.
And he hasn't produced that. But as far as the consistent, last year being an outlier, I guess 2020, those first 2 years, that was a horrible team. And then for them to be a Super Bowl team in 2019 was a remarkable turnaround. And then you see it. I mean, all you have to do is talk to people around the league. And I think maybe I don't know if the fan base gets tired of just like want change or that's fun, but
right. They feel like year 9, it should have happened by now. But to me, when I look at Kyle Shanahan, I see Phil Mickelson before he won his first green jacket. You do have the best coach without a Lombardi trophy. I really think so. Just like Phil was the best golfer without a major, or without the Masters. And then they finally break through, and then good things happen after good things. I think that's out there for them. But let me just ask you this. If you had to put together Shanahan's coaching psychological profile, how would you describe him as a coach? Because I do think he's got elements of mastermind genius running guys open about him. Yeah. I also think he falls into the trap of being predictable and too conservative. On 3rd and 8 from the goal line, he had a kill shot in that Thursday night win over. I'm not complaining about games the 49ers win anymore. That's how I'm going to sleep better at night here. But they had a kill shot, Matt, on 3rd and 8, and he had a running back draw in the middle. He just threw the play away. And I know you're talking about, well, he's safety, he doesn't want a penalty in the end zone. I get all that. I just thought it was one of the most cowardly, like, here it is. You are in victory formation in 8 more yards. And he threw he ran a no-go play to punt the ball away when he had a kill shot. He didn't take it. Like, that's not the Kyle I know or like, and I didn't like that. But I do think the guy, it's not a coincidence that he's the 3rd winningest coach, 3rd longest tenured coach in the history of this franchise. He is good at what he does. Give me a psychological profile.
A psychological profile. Wow, that's we're getting deep now.
We're going straight manhunter.
Here's what I think about. Like, he will be the longest tenured head coach in 49ers history. And I know that, I remember, I think it was Carmen Policy, or Bill Walsh, that era, it was like, well, a head coach only has like a specific time frame before the message gets old and people tune him out. The thing that Kyle's not a rah guy. He's not like find a slogan and stick with it.
Right. By the way, players do not like rah coaches at the professional level. They do not.
But I've asked guys like, why hasn't his message worn thin? And the answer that I get is because he doesn't have the same message. Every game is different. Every game plan is different. His message is always, this is what it's going to take to win this game, or this is what went wrong in this last game. This is what we need to improve. So he very much stays in the moment, and he's constantly coaching and teaching. Now, so that would be how I see him, is that he's very much X's and O's, and he can talk defense with Fred Warner as well as he can talk offense with Brock Purdy and George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey. So, there's not a lot of fluff there. There's not a lot of psychological, I'm going to say this because it's going to help me in this area, and this is what's going to. Now he's like, there's zero BS with this guy, and I think that's why players like playing for him, because he's really smart, and if they listen to him and they know what he's talking about, he can help them be better football players. I know the game management part, it comes under scrutiny, and I get rightfully so. They could have won, every big loss that they've had, meaning playoffs and Super Bowls. There's numerous things that can be second guessed on decisions he made that didn't turn out well.
Yep.
And for each of those decisions, he's also quite stubborn. For each of those decisions, he'll tell you exactly why he did it this way. And if given the same set of circumstances with the defenses that they were playing, with what play call they had, he'd make the same decision. So there's a stubbornness to him as well. So
I want that. I want that in my poker player. I want someone who's playing the cards and the system, and just because they get beat on the river doesn't mean they played the hand wrong.
Yeah.
And I want someone with conviction in how they go out and they do it, even though I think that sometimes Kyle does trip over that conviction and it looks like stubbornness, but
yeah, I mean, I'll a couple examples, like, the against the in the Super Bowl when he was the play caller for the Falcons. It was, I think, the sack strip that was a huge play for the Patriots to come back from that 28-3. If the back had just picked off the blitzing linebacker like he should have, Aldrick Robinson was wide open down the left sideline for the kill shot. So there's that. Is that a bad play call? Well, it turned out horribly, so I guess you'd have to say that as well. In the game, the Super Bowl in Miami, when the 49ers were up by 10 or whatever it was, or maybe at that point up by 3, and they threw on first down. Well, Kittle was wide open on this seam route, but Chris Jones stuck his left hand up there and batted it down. Well, was that a good play call? If he doesn't bat that ball down, it goes for 15 yards. They move the chains, they run out the clock, whatever the case may be. So that's a great thing about, this sport, is that it's so much more complex, and there's so many more moving parts than any other sport. Because was it a bad play call? Was it bad execution? Was it just luck or circumstances? Was the other team making an out-of-body type of play? But it just kind of seems like every time we talk about this in relation to Kyle Shanahan, we're talking about those big plays that went the other way. And, why is it? Why does that keep happening? And I don't know the answer.
Hey, I never expected to take you as long as we're going here, Matt. If you got anywhere to go, just tap out. I got a couple more questions. Okay. Just starting with Micah Williams and Alfred Collins. It's starting to round into shape. How happy are they with their defensive line investment? We haven't even really seen C.J. West join the party yet, and I think he's going to be a good player too. What does this team think of its early returns on these guys? Again, I think that Alfred Collins has already had a better career in one play than Javon Kinlaw did.
I knew you were going to go there, right? And that was a guy that when I watched him early in training camp, after he didn't take part in the offseason program, he had, I believe, a calf injury, or I think it was a calf injury. That's what I thought. I was like, man, is he just too big? Like, is he going to be one of these guys at 6'5", 332 pounds, that he can't play the run because guys are going to get under his pads and blow him off the ball? And I don't think he's a great pass rusher either. He's made tremendous strides. And then Michael Williams is a really solid player, playing base end and then moving inside to rush the passer. I just don't know if, and this isn't everything, but it's a lot. I just don't know that he's ever going to put up huge sack numbers. He never really did that at Georgia. But I'd say as far as long-term starting defensive linemen, those two guys, and I think Alfred Collins is going to be in the starting lineup a lot sooner than later. And once he gets in there, he's not coming out for at least 4 years. I think those two guys have given them just about everything that you would expect. And then for the future, pass rushers, man, they need to add pass rushers, and more than likely through the draft. If they add one with a trade, it's going to be a guy who's here for half the season. But they need like dynamic, more dynamic pass rusher, young guy, first round pick that can get after.
I'll tell you, that first round pick next year has already got to be tabbed for a tackle, right? I mean,
I don't think so. I think edge rusher.
Are they ever going to invest in this offensive line? I mean,
well, they've invested,
right?
Damon, do this exercise. Look at teams that draft offensive linemen in the first round. They never improve.
Well, so to me, this is maybe happening in real time right now because the Jets are the Jets. But I would have traded half my picks last year to move up for Armand Membu, and this guy's the best right tackle in football 5 games into his career almost.
Yeah,
so,
I think edge rusher. I think we'll see where this goes. If this is Trent Williams' final season, would they? And this is far down the line. I mean, would they move Colts McKivitz to left tackle? Do they have to draft? And by the way, if you draft the left tackle, let's just say the 49ers are picking, let's say 20th. They probably expect to be picking in the 20s. But are you going to get, a starting left tackle there?
Package move up. You got compensatory picks out the ass. Make a move.
Then you're giving up the opportunity to get an edge rusher or two. You might need a wide receiver in next year's draft.
Hey, you know what? Draft a kicker in the 3rd just to see what happens.
Well, that would totally throw us off the scent of complaining about any other picks they made.
By the way, dude, can I just show you for a second? Because we always just talk Niners whenever we see it. We hardly just like talk random football. You were watching last night, right? You watched Sunday Night Football. Did you see this rep from Chris Jones that I'm about to show you?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I did.
Did you see this freaking rep, Matt? Look at this. This is Warren Sharp who shared this on Twitter last night. Look at this rep.
It's
okay. So now if you're saying that he thought maybe, Lawrence was knocked down and tackled there, which is why he gave up on it. But then there's clearly the play is still going. Watch 95. Watch Chris Jones.
Yeah. You know what? I'm not a big fan of. Watch number 32. Watch Nick Bolton. I'm not exactly a fan of his effort either. Watch this thing again. Nick Bolton, number 32. If he just kept going, could have touched Trevor Lawrence down. He's coming.
Why did he stop?
He's on the bottom of the screen, and then watch 32. He's at the very bottom, the white uniform at the bottom.
Yep, the guy's coming off the edge.
Then he stops.
He's doing nothing,
and then he's jogging. He could have stopped him too. So those are Chris Jones. Definitely, that was
woof.
Wow. That was really
that's worse than the Chase Young rep that got Chase Young run out of town here. Yeah. So that was ugly. As soon as I saw that last night, I'm like, I'm going to show that to Cobra, see what he thinks about that. Look, you already picking out other guys to blame.
I saw it last night and I watched it several times. I was like kind of amazed. I mean, he came to
you never see that on a football. You never see that in an NFL game.
He came to a complete stop and then started walking. And still could have been in position had he just turned on the ignition a second earlier to make the stop at the goal line. Yeah, no, that was bad.
His defense could only be, I thought we were playing college football and he's down the minute his knee is down and the play was up. But that was really, really bad. I'll tell you, it's been really, really good having you, Matt. Final thought. If Malik Mustafa is able to return, his practice window's open. They got 3 weeks to figure out. If he is able to return, what wrinkle does that give Robert Saleh that he might not have without that return? Do you think Saleh? We haven't seen this guy get coached by this guy yet. I'm excited.
Yeah, no, it's the 49ers have, Jair Brown's not bad, and they found a way to use him in big nickel. So he's getting a dozen snaps a game, and now you push him one spot further down the depth chart. Jason Pinnock, I think right now is better than Marquise Siegel, but Marquise Siegel is a rookie who shows a lot.
And he's getting better.
He's getting better. The pass coverage hasn't been great, but a lot of times he's right there, and maybe it's just experience. So, what do the 49ers do? Is Mustafa, does he automatically go back into the starting lineup? And if so, do they go with the veteran Pinnock, who probably is better equipped right now to be a better player? However, if Siegel plays more, he's going to be better than Pinnock in a short period of time. So there's a lot for them to figure out. I mean, it's a great problem to have, I guess, to bring it full circle back to, the quarterback controversy, non-controversy, the fact that we're talking about, the quarterbacks. Oh, is it better to play Mac Jones? Or, I mean, it tells you they have 2 good quarterbacks. And right now I think they have 4 good starting caliber safeties that, I'm not sure how they do it. They'll probably use more big nickel. Honestly, I think how it impacts the team is, I don't think there's ever a real reason now for them to use the 3 linebackers. Luke Gifford is their third, the strong side linebacker. I don't know that the 49ers need to use him anymore. They can use 5-man lines with the 2 linebackers. They can use a 4-2-5 and have either Upton Stout at the nickel or the big nickel, whether that's Jair Brown or Mustafa or Siegel. So it does give them a lot of flexibility based on the kind of personnel they're facing on a weekly basis.
It was such a pleasure to catch up with you, Matt. Thank you so much for your time today. We do like twice a year, you and I usually get together. We used to have radio stations coming in between this conversation. We don't need to worry about them anymore. No. We can do it whenever we want. Thank you for wanting to join me today. It meant a lot. Appreciate your time, brother.
All right, Damon. Thank you so much. And a shout out to all your viewers here. And if you're watching this on the Damon Bruce Network, go over to my YouTube page, and might as well, right? Go over to my network, and just I want to just little comment at the bottom of my last video, just say, saw you on Damon Bruce. So I want there to be some good cross promotion here.
The Cobra out. Cobra, Matt Maiocco, the man, the myth, the legend here on YouTube. Thanks so much to him for joining us from his now high-tech breakfast nook. That green screen, I didn't think it was coming to the nook. It did. What a great guy. Love having Matt Maiocco on. Again, McFly JP says, whoa, the collab I did not expect. I used to love having Maiocco on, and then I was on a station. He was on another one. There were deals and contracts signed that prevented that. And we were pulled apart by business. Now it is us putting things back together. Thank you very, very much to Matt Maiocco for being here. Great stuff as always. Really, really appreciate that. So look, we got a couple of other things to get here today. First of all, he was saying that Fred Warner might be the best player in football. Well, right now I saw that Pro Football Focus is grading out its linebackers who have already played 100 plus snaps so far this year. Right now, Fred Warner is the highest graded linebacker in all of football. He's got a 93 from Pro Football Focus. Devin Lloyd of the Jaguars, who you just watched last night, 91.8. Jack Campbell of the Lions is at 90.7. Those are the only 3 linebackers, pardon me, the only 3 linebackers in football with grades in the 90s over a Pro Football Focus. And again, nobody's higher than Fred Warner. I agree with Matt. I don't know if you can find a defender having a better year than Fred Warner a defensive player of the year campaign does feel like it's underway for Fred. And if the 49ers keep on stacking wins, it could happen. It absolutely could happen. We had some supers come in during the Maiocco. Chat saying, Kevin Wood says, didn't Trey run a similar offense to Kyle at North Dakota State University? I didn't watch enough Bison football to answer that question. And just about every single play of North Dakota that I saw was Trey Lance deciding not to throw the ball and just running down the field. He was the only barrel-chested guy on a football field of non-Division I athletes, and he was a bull in a china shop more than he was running a sophisticated offense in just about every single highlight that I saw from him. So I can't answer that question. I would err on the side of no, that North Carolina was not running a similar offense to Kyle Shanahan's. But I really can't answer that definitively. Again, San Bruno Mike said, we got over 340 here. Like and subscribe. Yes, please like and subscribe if you have not already. Bang, bang. Barry Ford from Memphis. We had a great time at the Dubliner. Did you get my guy a beer? You know what? I did. I forgot to buy Smiley Dan the beer, but Smiley Dan was never crestfallen by any of that. There was nobody with a bigger smile on his face all day than Smiley Dan. So I think we're good. I pocketed Smiley Dan's beer money. I totally forgot. Next time I see Smiley Dan, I'll take care of it. Bang, bang. By the way, if Shanahan rests Brock and Mac has us 10-1, does he let Brock back to finish it out? Hey, let's cross that bridge when we get to it. I mean, that's the thing. You're talking about a level of winning there that is hard to turn away from. It's why I asked Matt. It's why I asked Matt Maioco. There isn't a quarterback controversy happening until there's one happening in Shanahan's mind. Maioco doesn't think there's one happening there yet. Could there be something that happens over this course of the season to create that thought bubble for Kyle? Yeah, I mean, sure. Success changes everything. JP from the 510 says, DB, I'm in Chicago for the next 72 hours. Where am I eating other than pizza? And where am I bringing you back a bottle of Malort? JP, you're a sweetheart. Keep that Malort as far away from me as humanly possible. Malort is based on a dare that I'm not taking. I don't get it. I don't do shots of Scope. I don't do shots of Listerine. So no Malort for me. Thank you. No Fernet for me. I don't get it. Like, those two drinks are based on a dare as far as I'm concerned. If you have not eaten at Au Cheval, you need to go get a burger at Au Cheval. Make sure you put bacon on that burger. It's one of the best cheeseburgers you will ever have in your life. Au Cheval in the Loop. Go ahead and check that out. Really good fun nighttime bar. If you were looking for a good little bar at the end of the night, check out this place called Money Gun. Money Gun was a good bar that I went to in Chicago the last time I was there. But there you go. That's what I'm recommending to you right now. For your deep dish, go to Gino's East on Superior Street. You'll be happy that you did. All right. What else have we got? Oh, we got this. How about this? We got the Cincinnati Bengals making a big move. It's probably an exaggeration, but they did flip a fifth rounder to Cleveland for Joe Flacco. So Joe Flacco goes from Cleveland to Cincinnati. You want to talk about a lateral move at best. There you go, Joe Flacco. But it's going to be a good move for Joe because he was on the outs already in Cleveland. They deemed him enough of that. They were on to Dylan Gabriel. And Jacob Browning threw so many interceptions for Cincinnati over the weekend that Jamar Chase was Cincinnati's leading tackler because he had to tackle guys who had been picking off passes intended to him. So something had to be done there. Joe Flacco's got starter reps coming in Cincinnati, so he's probably happy to be there. I don't know if that brings Trey Hendricks to the 49ers faster or not. I don't. So good luck with everything as far as that's concerned. But here's all you need to know about the obsession with backup quarterbacks. The minute Joe Flacco got traded, nobody in media said, hey, that absolutely entrenches Dylan Gabriel as the starter. It was covered through the prism of, hey, Shedeur Sanders is now the backup quarterback in Cleveland. Here he comes. I've never seen a team wanting to get through a higher drafted rookie who played pretty well in his debut just to get to Shedeur Sanders, as much as the Browns either set that up to happen or wanted that to happen. It's weird. It is weird for sure. There's no doubt about that. All right. Let me find something here that I got to find this that I'm looking for. Pardon me. Should have had this set up before the damn show started today. But, you know, I was busy getting ready for Matt Maiocco. But I am proud to let you know that we got a new sponsor in town. Coming to the Plus. TickPick. I mean, if you put a D in there, you wouldn't want that from me. But TickPick. Right now, my friends, I know you are sick and tired of paying fees when it comes to buying tickets online. It's one of my biggest pet peeves out there. What do you mean you're charging me a fee for it? There's not even another human touching this. This is the computer. There should be no fees here. Well, TickPick believes that as well. With over 20 million downloads, TickPick has you covered. Whether you're going NFL, NBA, concerts, festivals, you name it, TickPick gives you the lowest price guaranteed with no fees attached. What you see is what you pay. And right now, if you use TickPick and you use promo code HMA, it stands for Hog Media Association, I guess. I work with them to create some sponsors for the show. If you use HMA right now in your code, you get $20 off your first set of tickets from TickPick with a purchase of $100 or more. Check out TickPick the next time you are picking up tickets to your favorite sporting event, your concert, your festival, whatever. We are happy to have them. And now here with the Plus. Means business is happening, which is good. Again, we thank our current sponsors. The business is happening over on Sleeper. Again, use promo code Damon when you sign up at the link in the description of this video right here and right now, and you get $100 deposit match on a deposit up to $100, your first deposit over on Sleeper. I had winner chicken dinner last night thanks to a few parlays I set up for Monday Night Football. My man Ike has a delicious sandwich just waiting for you. I hope you don't wait any longer to make that first order. If you never have, I hope you are in position to make that order because there's an Ike's near you or in delivery range of you. Sign up for that Love Rewards program. Get yourself earning free sandwiches, chips, and drinks, and get it done. Our friends at the Dubliner West Portal, love for them. Certainly on full display as Plus Mania was just an awful lot of fun this past weekend. Thank you so much to the Dubliner for hosting us. That was just awesome. Really, really awesome. And thanks again to Matt Maiocco for joining us here today. We got the baseball playoffs continuing today. Look, both the Cubs and the Phillies have basically been handed death sentences in their NLDS last night. Both of those teams are in 0-2 holes to the Brewers and Dodgers, respectively. Now, at least the Cubs can say they're heading to Wrigley to try to come back from a death sentence 0-2 hole. The Phillies just dropped 2 at home and have to fly to L.A. now for Dodger Stadium, where they'll be down 0-2. I tell you, there have been some games that have just been over before they began. You look at what Toronto did to the New York Yankees. I mean, the Toronto Blue Jays beat the Yankees like a clubbed baby seal, and Yankees get throttled up there. They're home now, down 0-2 to the Blue Jays. That game today is at 5:00. But before that, we get Mariners and Tigers. The only series that is even here in the DS is at 1-1. That happens, in about an hour from right now of this live stream that's happening. So we got some playoff baseball today. That's really, really good. Now, this is a graphic that is 18 innings of playoff baseball old, and all the strikeouts from yesterday's games old. But I saw this yesterday and had to share it with you. I saw this on Twitter. CJ Nikowski, who I used to do an Eye on Baseball show, former Major League pitcher, now does color commentary for the Rangers in the regular season and has picked up some postseason work, baseball, radio stuff. Anyways, look at the cheese that has been served by pitchers so far this postseason. Look at this. So again, this is 18 innings old. So add another 18 innings to that 156 innings pitched and whatever yesterday's pitches were that eclipsed 99 miles an hour. Folks, we are in an era of pitching gas that we've never seen before. 142 pitches before yesterday's games this postseason are clocked at 99 miles an hour or more. Look at where 142 is through 156 innings, and then go and look at the other pitch totals of 99 or more and look at that those are over like 300, 400, 500. No, there's not a 500 inning up there, but like 400 innings everywhere else. In 2020, you had 162 of them. But then look at where we are now. Halfway through it, you have almost the biggest number on the board at 142. There is nuclear fission happening in major league bullpens. I mean, you start seeing 99 miles an hour in the sixth inning. More than 99 miles an hour goes away in the sixth inning when you start bringing in guys from your bullpen, your relief pitchers. There is like you're never going to see another like submariner Tyler Rogers come down the developed major league pipeline ever again. You either show up with high test petrol or you ain't even going to get out there. Look at that. Freaking gasolina is all you see as a major league hitter in the postseason right now. So great stuff in that graphic. A lot of fun stuff here with you today. Thanks to everyone who has been in here, hit like, subscribed, or offered up a super, and there is nothing left to do today other than tell you what happened today throughout history. Here we go. First, we start with birthdays. Happy birthday to a man who dropped out of Indiana after one semester, but kept on loving the state of Indiana, kept on loving IU to the point where Indiana's football team practices in the Mellencamp Center. Happy 74th birthday to John Mellencamp. Little pink houses for you and me. Sucking on a chili dog outside a Tasty Freeze. John Mellencamp, 74 years old. By the way, you know you're a really good cellist when you're the only cellist that anybody who is not involved in orchestra can identify in the world. Yo-Yo Ma is 70 years old today. I remember when he was a young man on Mr. Rogers. Happy birthday to Vladimir Putin, 73rd birthday. I'm sure Donald Trump sent him a fucking edible arrangement. Simon Cowell, today, 66 years old. Tony Braxton, 58 years old. Tom York of Radiohead. I hated Radiohead. To me, here's every single Tom York song in Radiohead. Are you ready? Here it comes. You have just heard every single Radiohead song. I hope you enjoyed it. It's made Tom York an awful lot of money. Happy birthday to Charles Woodson, Hall of Fame corner, one of the great Raiders, a great Packer. Charles Woodson, great Michigan Wolverine, 49 years old. I'm older than Charles Woodson. Holy shit. Happy 33rd birthday to Mookie Betts, only because he doesn't pitch. He's not the best player on the planet or even his own team. He's got to deal with Shohei Ohtani. But Mookie Betts is a future Hall of Famer. He's 33 years old. That guy's like, what do you need, a left fielder? Fine. Hey, I've never played shortstop before, but would you like Gold Glove shortstop? Fine. You need me at center field? Fine. You need me left field? Fine. I can do anything. I'm Mookie fucking Betts. The guy's unbelievable. But for Shohei Ohtani, he is the greatest baseball player on the planet right now. Not even good as his own teammate. So there you go. Those are today's birthdays. Today in 1849, a short story writer, a poet, a sullen guy who'd kind of be like the great-great-great-grandfather of all emos everywhere, Edgar Allan Poe, died in Baltimore, Maryland today in 1849, which is interesting because just this past Sunday, we watched the Baltimore Ravens die in Baltimore, Maryland. So, a lot of Ravens, never more to be quoted in that. Let's see. Today in 1919, KLM, the Netherlands official airline, was founded. When I flew to Amsterdam, yeah, man. When I flew to Amsterdam to meet Jillian over there on our first foray, my first foray ever to Europe, Amsterdam is the best first city to go to when you're making your first international trip, especially if you need a little weed. Space cakes, eat one at a time. You're going to want a full hour in between your space cake edibles because they ain't fucking around over there. Anyway, Jillian found out the hard way. I flew KLM. I thought Virgin was a really nice airline. You get on some other, get on an airline that is not an American-based airline, and you're like, what the fuck are we doing? This is much nicer than when we do it. Today in 1944, the Dumbarton Oaks Conference concluded today in D.C. on 1944, and during that weeks-long conference, the United States, China, the Soviet Union, and the United Kingdom formulated proposals for a world organization that became the United Nations, which is systematically being taken apart by bad influences, and we all know what's going on, and fuck everyone involved in that. The United Nations is a good thing. Today in 1952, WFIL in Philadelphia introduced a show called Bandstand. They would rename it American Bandstand. An American Bandstand, between its presence on the radio and then on TV, became one of the longest running TV shows in entertainment. Oh my God. Today in 1958, a U.S. manned spaceflight project was renamed Project Mercury. The original name of Project Mercury was Project Astronaut. And someone's like, we can do better than that. We can do better than that. That would be like calling dinner Project Fork. Like, why? Like, we can do better than that. Mercury is so much cooler than Project Astronaut. So yeah, you nailed it. You absolutely nailed it there, NASA. Today in 1971, The French Connection with Gene Hackman came out. Now, we just lost Gene Hackman a little while ago. If you've never seen The French Connection, this is one of those you got to see in movies. You got to see The French Connection. The movie's awesome. It won Best Picture. And it had one of the original, like, holy shit, this is great car scenes in it, car chase scenes you'll ever see. Under the L in Chicago, it's great. French Connection. Popeye Doyle. Wasn't that the name of Hackman's character in The French Connection? Popeye Doyle, I think. Yeah. I loved it. Or what? No, it was. We laughed. We laughed. We cried. It was better than Cats. Today in 1982, Cats opened on Broadway. Today in 1982, on October 7th, Cats. It became very cool to make fun of Cats. I saw Cats when I was a kid. I thought it was the coolest thing I ever saw in my life. It was really cool. It was great. It was great. At the Winter Garden Theater. Let's see. One of the worst things that ever happened to the United States happened today in 1996. The Fox News channel began broadcasting. You have never in your life seen a more divisive, horrible organization propped up under the guise of news when it really is all propaganda, built to divide us and to appeal to the dumbest among us. That's what. By the way, you have to know that if you are a Fox viewer, Fox News, You're volunteering the information that you are the dumbest, most susceptible, easiest to con people in the audience. Nailed it. So thank you very, very much for being a part of today's show. Thank you very, very much to Matt Maioco for being a part of today's show. Thank you very, very much to SF Indigo, who's been a member for 20 months. And he said on this day, on October 7th, 1571, the Catholic Church saved Western civilization from total Islamic conquest. It was the Battle of Nepatano. I'm going to tell you, had the Catholic Church lost that one, I don't think we would be a majority Muslim over here. I don't know. But I do love good stats from history. Thank you, SF Indigo, for caring enough about that to really be in share that. Thank you. It was awesome hanging out with you today. Thank you very, very much for being here. Thanks to TickPix for stopping on by. Thanks to Matt Maioco for stopping on by. Thanks to Sleeper, Ikes, the Dubliner, but mostly you. Without you, we ain't doing this. So you, please hit like and subscribe before you are done with today's live stream. Thank you so very much for being a part of this. And please do remember that sports don't build character. They reveal it. And like that, he's gone.